Is Jessica Blodgett, exclusive Black status presenter with Younique, and I have a challenge for you today. And this might make you um, feel a little bit of anxiety, but I'm here to tell you it's a good thing because you won't feel anxious afterward. Um, how many of you have ever watched Oprah before? Have you watched Oprah? I remember growing up on Oprah. And one episode of Oprah I remember, and I think it's something very valuable. So, our whole mission with Younique is to uplift, empower, and validate. And it also ties in directly with the Younique Foundation, to help support women who have been through, sexual abuse as a child, to help them work through that and have healing. And when I think about our mission and I think about the foundation, and then I also tie in, my own passion for this business, I think about how so many women on my team, on other Younique teams, struggle on a personal level. And so much of their anxiety, so much of their comfort zone, so much of their success boils down to how they feel about themselves inside. And all of us, the beauty of this world, we are all different. Every Younique presenter, each one of you has come into Younique with a totally unique set of experiences, right? Some of you have come from the corporate world, you've come from stay-at-home mom world, you've come from everything. Think childhood through now. You've all come through different walks of life, and all of those walks of life should help, develop you into who you are, what you're capable of. And oftentimes I'm finding that women in this business have this like mental roadblock. There's something either that happened to them, there's something that was told to them maybe over and over and over again, and it mentally blocks us from moving forward. It doesn't allow us to push through, and not even push through, like explode through our barriers. Because can you imagine if you didn't feel, anxiety for the first time in your life? Let's say that you're more of an anxious type of person. You are anxious in large crowds. Maybe you're shy. Maybe you're anxious and totally terrified to do videos or even Facebook Live. No way. Can you imagine if that little piece that's in here was taken out? What would happen to your business? Can you imagine if it wasn't something like that, but really it was a rooted problem? Something that happened to you, um, in your past, something that you hold on to. Maybe it's used as an excuse. Maybe it's a legitimate excuse, but it's, an excuse nonetheless, and it has stopped you from everything you've ever wanted to accomplish in life. Can you imagine if you could get rid of it? It's a freeing thing when you're able to get rid of those mental blocks, those comfort zones. The episode with Oprah, what happened was I think it had to do with like forgiveness. And you may have heard this statement before, but some other people in Younique, they say, bless and release, right? So this episode was exactly that. Women took a sheet of paper and a pen, and they wrote down these fears, or they wrote down this situation that happened to them that they feel guilty about, that they feel disgusted about, that they feel burdened about. They wrote it down on a piece of paper. Some of them, I think, even wrote letters to people and just got everything out that they ever needed and wanted to get out. And what they did is they took that piece of paper, folded it up, put it in a balloon, and everyone, went outside, and all these women, there was this huge sea of women, and they released the balloons. And I know that there was like a psychologist or a life coach or someone, involved with this episode and helped these women, through that whole process. Because it's a process. You have to process what you're doing. You have to make that commitment to allow it to be released from you. So it got me thinking about, that episode, and it got me thinking about how that relates to our world. And it's not just network marketing, but in general, the relationships we have with people, how we are as parents, all sorts of things. And it made me think of how powerful it could be to do something like that for yourself, to write down all of your fears. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of failing? Are you afraid of succeeding? Because that's a real failure too, or that's a real fear too. What stops you? What's that mental block that says to you that you can't do it? What is it that's telling you that you're not worthy of it? Have you tried to work on that rather than force yourself to work on selling another mascara or another lip gloss? Are you actually taking that mental picture of how you see yourself and how the world sees you? Are you figuring out how to better yourself and to release yourself from whatever that pain is? Like for me, I've gone through a lot of things in my life where I feel like I was a failure. And this, although sometimes I feel, sorry, I don't mean to get emotional, but sometimes I feel like I fail. I know that I'm not. I know that I'm doing things right. And I know not everybody will understand me, will understand this business. I know that I, lose people through my social media. There's people that will block me or not talk to me. They think I'm going to sales pitch them or whatever it is. And I think for me, it's realizing that what has helped me become successful and unique is realizing that my past feelings about failure, what I failed at in the past, whether it's a diet or several, career or job, relationships with people, whether it's significant others or friends. There's been a lot of failures that I have held on to. And I realized that it didn't mean that I was going to fail at this. Because my desire to want this for not just myself, but for my family, it trumped that. That fear I had to work through. I had to work through the possibility of failing. And I did. And I did it, I remember when I was pushing for green. I remember when I was pushing for every single color, to be totally honest with you. And to me, every single one meant that I wasn't a failure because I was pushing through those boundaries. I was pushing through, exploding through those barriers, those mental blocks that I've always had. And the satisfaction of hitting every one of those milestones from white all the way to black is what fueled my business. And then it started to change because I saw all these women in Younique with these mental blocks, these people or these things, these past fears, whatever it was stopping them from being fabulous, from being amazing. There are too many of you that are not told that you can do it. There are too many of you. I shouldn't even say that because us leaders tell you you can do this. There's a lot of you that are not telling yourself this. And every single morning you should be telling yourself how powerful you are, how amazing you are for pushing through, for making a difference, for putting yourself out there, for changing your life. I remember when I was going for pink and just seeing the possibilities, seeing that extra money coming in, which we desperately needed. That was my why when I started. We needed the money, desperately needed the money. And then it started to evolve because the passion came along. Like, oh my gosh, I can stand behind people like Derek and Melanie. I am accomplishing things. Our compensation plan is there to remind you that you did it, that you accomplished a huge goal. And it's really cool to see. And it's really empowering to see women like you work through those fears, work through those mental blocks. So, my hope for all of you, I know you've heard this time and time again, how important personal development is, but I hope that you kind of think for a second about how important it truly is. And it doesn't have to be a network marketing book. It could be an inspirational video that you find on YouTube. It could be a self-development book on other subjects. This business is not meant to be, it's not meant to pressure you into being the best saleswoman, the best recruiter. It's not meant for that. It's meant for you to have something, to feel uplifted and validated and empowered. So run with that. Work through the mental block that is stopping you from your greatness, because I guarantee it's something. Something is stopping you, and you need to identify what that is. And then you need to figure out how you're going to bless and release it, because you have to. It's not just going to change your business, it's going to change your life. It's going to change how your relationship is with your significant other, with your children, with your own personal girl inside of you. It will, I promise you. So I hope that helps. I hope that some of you can think about that, can write down those fears or that letter that you need to write just to get everything out. Put it in a balloon, get some helium, and release it. Throw it in a fire pit. Do what you need to do. Get it all out and release it. Okay? Have a good day.